It's 2022 now, and we all have goals to achieve and things we want to do, but how do we do everything if, like me, we're a bit average? And that is the story of Ben Hunt-Davis and the British rowing team. They went from mediocrity in the 1992 Olympics to winning Olympic gold in the year 2000. Luckily for us, Ben wrote it down in the book, Will It Make the Boat Go Faster? Which is the question the team asked themselves because nothing else mattered unless it made the boat go faster. And so this book is about how we can make our own boats go faster, how we can achieve our goals quicker, and how we can make sure that we don't quit along the way. This is the book that I'm going to be using in 2022 to get everything that I want out of my YouTube channel, basically. I know I can't what I can't control, but I know all the things that I can control and all the things that I can focus on to help me maximize my chances of success, which is all anyone can really do. Ben didn't know he was going to win the gold medal. He just knew that he could maximize his chances of success by doing all the right things. And that is what I'm going to try and do as well. And I hope that's what you can try and do with your goals. And this book is a really great instruction manual on how to achieve the things that you want to achieve. It's quite a long video, so there are some timestamps in the video description. Please jump around to the relevant bit for you if you want to. Let's get into it. So the most important thing for me from this book is actually just the title, Will It Make the Boat Go Faster? So what is your boat and what is the thing you're trying to achieve? For me, it's making money on YouTube and getting views. So the thing that's going to get me there is having good videos. And the thing that I should be asking myself is, will it make my videos better? That's the simple question. If no, then don't do it. If yes, then do it. Maybe if you're just trying to get in shape or get fit, the question you should be asking yourself is, will it make me fitter? It's really, really simple, and it cuts through all the noise and you can just get straight to the point. If it's no, don't do it. If it's yes, do it. Ben talks about setting layered goals. So what he means by layered goals is having that crazy goal at the top connected to the everyday layer at the bottom, which is the thing that you can actually do on a day-to-day basis that gets you to the crazy goal. Ben's crazy goal was to win the Olympic gold. That seemed outrageous to him. It seemed like a long, long way away. So how was he going to break it down to make sure that he could do stuff every day to get him to that crazy goal? He breaks it into 4 layers: the crazy layer, the concrete layer, the control layer, and the everyday layer. The concrete layer is, how do you know when you've actually achieved that thing? So for Ben, it's kind of obvious. He can obviously just win the gold medal. But for me, maybe my crazy goal is to become a YouTuber. The concrete layer would be, how do I know when I've become a YouTuber? And maybe it's 1 million subscribers, maybe it's 200 videos, maybe it's I'm making £30,000 a year. That's the concrete layer that you know you've achieved the goal. For Ben and his team, before the race, they wanted to complete a 2,000 meter race in 5 minutes and 18 seconds. And they know if they did that before the race, they would go into the race with the best possible chance of success. So that was their concrete layer that they knew they had to achieve before the race to make sure that they could achieve their goal. Then there is the control layer. So that is the things that you can control and the buckets that make up the concrete layer. So for Ben and his team, the buckets were their physicality, their rowing technique, their rowing tactics, their rowing equipment, and their mental attitude. Those were the buckets that made up, those were the things that they had to improve on that would make up achieving the concrete layer, which would then in turn work towards achieving the crazy layer. Then we've got the everyday layer. So that is how you're going to actually improve upon all those different buckets that you have to be good at to achieve the crazy goal. So maybe on a Monday morning, you're going to work on your physical fitness, and then on a Monday afternoon, you're going to work on rowing technique and tactics. And that is how you actually work towards the crazy goal. Even the people who are incredibly motivated to achieve their goals still need little tips and tricks to help them stay motivated. Ben talks about knowing what floats your boat, and that is the sort of core reason behind why you're trying to do that thing. So if you're trying to get fit and trying to get in good shape, maybe what floats your boat in that situation is being proud of your body, is being healthy and so you can live longer, being healthy so that you can be have good energy around your family and your friends. It's what are the things that really motivate you and so you can remember that why, so when you get a sort of lack of motivation, you can go, oh, okay, I know why I'm doing this thing. Then he talks about some other tips and tricks, and one I really like is called flick the switch, which is basically where when you know you've got to do something, you just pluck up the courage and just flick the switch. Mentally, you're just like, right, I've got to do that thing. I'm just going to go and do it. And that's obviously quite difficult to do, but I think once you get into habit with it and practice it, it's like, right, I've got to get out of bed. Right, I've got to start doing that thing. It's just having that ability to flick the switch, get over the mental hurdle of trying to do the thing and just do it. The other one is the 10-minute rule. So I've spoken about this in another video about the 5-minute rule, but it's the same idea. You basically just try and start something and you say, I'm only going to do this thing for 10 minutes. And normally at the 10-minute mark, you then are actually kind of enjoying it and don't feel the need to stop. But if you want to stop, you can stop. It's just about getting yourself to start, which is the most difficult thing. So you allow yourself 10 minutes. Having strong beliefs is so important. And Henry Ford famously said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're probably right. Ben talks about different ways of creating a strong sense of belief. But the one that I like the most is creating an evidence wall. So this is where you basically get Post-it notes or something like that and stick them on the wall with evidence of why you're going to succeed. So things that Ben put up on the wall was like previous rowers that had done it before him, had gone from being average to winning Olympic gold. They put pictures up of rowers that were too short that had won Olympic gold as evidence though, even though they were short, they sort of overcome their disadvantage and they'd achieved Olympic gold. Everything geared them towards believing that they could win Olympic gold, which was so important to their success. So for me, believing I can be a YouTuber and make some money from this is actually so important. If I didn't believe that I could do it, there'd be no point in doing it. So I'm going to create an evidence wall with all of the different things that are giving me faith that I can do it. Making it happen. Ben talks about how there are two types of people, and there's a group of people who let things happen to them and feel like a victim of the world, and there are other types of people who make things happen for them. They identify their circle of control, which I've made a video you can click on here, and they identify the things that they can do, the things that are in their control, and then they execute on those things. He talks about how we should see the rainbow of possibilities that we could do in a given moment. So there's this example he gives of someone who's working in an office and always makes the coffee for everyone in the office. They complain that they make the coffee for everyone in the office because they don't want to be the only one who's making the coffee. But Ben talks about how actually there's so many possibilities here. They feel like the only thing that they can do is just continue to make the coffee and be sad, or just not make the coffee at all and not have coffee. But there's actually a whole rainbow of ideas that they could do. They could make a coffee just for themselves. They could make a coffee for everyone and just get on with it. They could make a coffee and yell, "Fuck you, everyone, I'm making a coffee just for myself." They could replace the coffee machine so that there was one that was automatic, or whatever it is. Like, there's always a rainbow of possibilities and a rainbow of things that you can do to take control of a situation if it's upsetting you or if you don't like the situation. So see the rainbow of things that you can do to make your goal happen in 2022. It might not just be working out once a week or going to this gym. There could be other things that you could do to get fit or to achieve whatever goal it is that you're trying to achieve. High performance conversations. Ben talks about to be a high performer, you have to have conversations, difficult conversations with people in your circle about your goal. You should ask for feedback on how you're doing. You should then try and take it on board and also ask for people to give feedback as they see it. So tell it how it is the phrase that Ben uses. And then also make a decision about how you're going to incorporate the feedback. You have to be able to put your ego to the side and accept how that person thinks that you're doing, and maybe it's true, maybe it's not, but be able to take on board other people's opinions and have high performance conversations. Performance versus results. So the most important thing here is that you don't get results by looking at the score. So for Ben, they weren't going to get results by purely looking at how fast they were rowing. They needed to think about how they were going to row faster. And that, if they focused on their performance, then they would get results later. If you're trying to get in shape, you're not going to get in shape just by thinking about getting in shape or just by setting goals. You actually need to turn up at the gym or do the workout, whatever it is. You actually need to have the system in place. You need to focus on your performance. So Ben talks about getting curious about the recipe. What is the recipe for success? What goes into it? What's going to make you successful in your goal? For YouTube, for me, like, the recipe is 2 videos a week and making each one as good as I can, getting consistently better over time. I'm not going to get anywhere by looking at subscribers and view count. I actually have to focus on my performance, and that will get me to the next level. And the results famously will look after themselves. Accepting and using change. So change is something that can actually, if you are willing to try new things and accept that change will happen, is actually how you can potentially unlock the secret to your success. Because you might think that the given situation is how you're going to achieve success. Your current system, your current process is how you're going to achieve your goal. But actually, it might be that if you try new things and you use change, you could actually unlock a system that will help you achieve your goal better. You have to try and do things that are outside your comfort zone, and that is how you learn and grow. Bouncebackability. This is basically resilience, but it's just a kind of fun way of saying it. I quite like it, bouncebackability. It's how you're going to bounce back from the things that are difficult to deal with or the disappointments. Problems will happen on your journey. Things will go wrong, whether it's trying to get fit, whether it's trying to win Olympic gold, or whether it's trying to become a YouTuber. There will be problems and there will be things that you need to bounce back from. So how do you bounce back from them? There's basically two things here. You prepare for any problems that you can see that might happen, and that way when they happen, you're better prepared. And the other thing is when something does go wrong, it's accept what you can't change and change the things that you can change. So again, it's the circle of control. Accept that the things happen and then control the things that you can change and you can improve. Accept it or do something about it is like a phrase that has been in my head so deeply now since starting YouTube, because there's so many things that go wrong, there's so many things that you can't control. I'm just like, okay, can I do anything about it? No. Okay, accept it. Can I do anything about it? Yes. Okay, what can I do? What do I want to do? Etc. Like, it's just so powerful when you realize how much is in your control and how much is not. Risks aren't bad, risks are unavoidable. We have this like preconception of risk as humans, that risks are inherently bad and that we shouldn't take risks. And I think there's a lot of sense to that 10,000 years ago. But now risks are something that we have to learn to understand and evaluate and learn which risks we can take and which risks we can't take. The thing that Ben talks about here, which is actually just so simple, but really like clicked in my mind, was that fear isn't a stop sign. And what he means is that whenever you're feeling fear, when you're feeling uncertainty, you feel like you're taking a risk, it doesn't mean you should stop. It actually often means that you're doing the right thing or you're doing something that is challenging you. And that is how you grow and how you learn and have a fulfilled life and all that kind of stuff. Feeling like you're taking a risk and feeling scared is not a stop sign. He talks about the 4 different types of risk that they sort of overlap, but there's risks you can afford to take, risks you can afford not to take, risks you can't afford to take, and risks you can't afford not to take. So every risk will kind of go into one of those 4 categories, and there might be some overlap, but it kind of gets you understanding like what type of risk are you actually taking? Like, is it a risk you can afford to take and you can recover from? Is it something you definitely shouldn't be doing? It's just a helpful framework to get you thinking about the level of risk. Ben writes that in order to win, you have to risk losing. So maybe it's just like, if you've got a simple goal, like as we said, just getting fit, getting in shape, maybe the risk is like trying a new thing, trying a new activity, and you feel like, oh no, it might, ruin my current system if I try this new type of workout. But actually it might be a better workout, it might get you towards your goal quicker, that kind of thing. It's like, is it a risk you can afford to take? Yes. So Ben talks a lot about unskewing the scales. We are designed not to take very much risk. Our scales are heavily in favor of not taking risk, of inaction. So we need to work on psychologically how we can give some power back to the risk-taking side. The way we give power back to that side is to ask ourselves, what are the risks of not doing anything? So maybe we're stuck in a job that we don't like and there's something else we know we want to try, but we're worried about quitting our job because we know that if we quit our job, we'll lose like a stable income, we'll lose kind of like, the years we put into that job or whatever it is. But what is the risk of not doing anything? The risk of not doing anything is actually never trying the thing you wanted to try, staying in a career that you don't like and losing more time, and then ending up 10 years down the line still doing something that you don't like doing and it makes you unhappy and whatever. That is the risk potentially of not doing anything. When you start to ask yourself that question, what is the risk of not doing anything? Actually, you can see all of the downsides to not taking action or not trying the new thing. So that was quite a long one. If you've made it this far, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you got some value and can use some of this for your 2022 goals. I certainly will be. If you enjoyed this video, you might enjoy this one here about the circle of control, which we spoke about, and also this one here about the Sunday night review, which is how I stay on top of my life and how I stay on on top of the goals that I'm trying to do. Please like and subscribe if you got some value. Like and subscribe if you got some value, and otherwise I'll see you in the next one.